like the title says, today we are going to be watching every single Warhammer 40k faction explained. I'll leave the original video in the description down below if you guys haven't seen it without me talking. But I'm going to be real, I don't know much about Warhammer. I went into like a Warhammer store when I was in Japan. That was really cool. I also watched that Warhammer cinematic like over a year ago. That's kind of like one of the, oh, I did also play the Warhammer 2 game, but I only really did the intro to it, and then I think I was waiting for Coma, and Coma's computer wouldn't work, so I never really jumped into it. So this is me understanding kind of what Warhammer is. Like I don't know. I can't lie. After seeing it, I still don't really know what it is. After watching it, it's a war stuff. No? Okay, cool. Anyway, we're gonna find out. Well, we're gonna find out what the factions are. Fractions, like I'm talking about maths. But anyway, we're gonna find out that. Let's just put the subtitles on. And yeah, let's get into it.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about, to add a little bit more context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing.
Okay,
so,
sure.
Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite
Bricky, I'm bricked and I'm ready.
Some time.
Sorry.
This is,
so sorry.
I need 2 hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell.
Oh, it's the race.
A little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore.
I'm assuming race is faction. Like it's like the factions are the race, that because that would okay,
a little
cool.
bit of talking about the tabletop, but mostly lore. What they're all
Yeah,
about.
I know it's the tabletop because I saw people playing it in the store. Not playing it, but they were like painting the figures for it, and I saw like a really cool dragon and stuff like that. Yeah, I forgot it was tabletop. Yeah. But I know it's also a
and
game.
A little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now
Hello, that's me. That's me. I can't even lie. I don't. Yeah.
Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green.
The chainsaw swords. Because I think when I played the game, the beginning bit of the game, you got that where you cutting down the big alien things. That kind of reminded me of Gears of War, because you know in Gears of War with like Marcus, he had the lancer with the chainsaw and the thing. It's cold. I was like, right.
Orcs, anyway. And there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs. And then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions.
Listen, I'm down to learn.
So
Teach me.
Overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so different with the things that they believe in.
Is that all the Oh, sorry. Is that all the factions? Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Dark Elder, Grey Knights, Imperial Knights. I feel like that might have been from the game Imperial Knights. I think that might maybe. I don't know.
Some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass electronics on them. You've got aliens and you've got the chaos factions, and there's much to entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about. And what the Warhammer universe is about as well.
Okay,
to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So
hey, listen,
I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40k universe, at least all the factions you can
I love the way he's going around all the factions on the screen.
Here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything.
Wait, what do you mean smaller factions?
And some smaller factions here and there.
So there's like,
I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it, because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well, in case you were curious about that. But for this episode,
not really, but sure. Like I don't really care for tabletop stuff. I'm feeling like the only, I guess, is it Does Monopoly count as a tabletop game? I don't know, but that's probably the only game I'd probably play tabletop. Or maybe Uno as well, actually. Uno's pretty fun tabletop. Just watching people have to pick up 4 cards and you just menacingly laughing at them. Anyway, I got distracted.
We are discussing the Imperium of Man because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore.
Okay.
What is Warhammer 40,000?
Yeah.
Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000. The 41st millennium, that's where it takes place, is in the year 40,000, 41.
Because what's his name? The guy that's not Superman anymore. I can't remember his name, but you don't know what I'm talking about. Plays Superman, but he said he loves Warhammer 40,000. He plays The Witcher. Well, he used to play The Witcher. I don't really know what he does anymore, but yeah.
1000 AD. You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote.
Honestly,
First of many quotes in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies.
Okay.
He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods.
That's cold.
Everything blows. And it blows fucking hard.
Okay, I get that's really sad, but that, I don't know, quote, that was cold. I can't, that, with the little music in the background as well, yeah, that was cold still. Anyway, sorry.
The most dark and depressing universes ever in
fiction. I love that.
Or at least like top 3. Everything is
I love
so
dark and depressing.
Horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages across the galaxy.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to be your god.
Wait,
Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy. It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks. But that's like the charm of it. See, everything in war...
Okay. Oh, the legs.
Evil. But being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity, in its own right, is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're like...
So kind of like humans now then, you know? I mean...
Mid to high tier.
Evil scale. My morals, that guy. Tarot players, Imperial of Man, Elder... Okay.
Evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good. No matter who you are, everyone is some flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool. They got cool outfits. They got cool weapons. They got cool armies. Villains are cool, man.
Listen, the good thing about villains is that you don't care who lives and who dies. Do you know what I mean? Like with a hero, you got to kind of live with a code. You try not to end people's life. With a villain, they don't care. A kid over there, cool, boom, blowed up. An older person over there, I don't care, bush. Inhumane, sure, but fun? If you're doing it in a game and not in real life, 100%. Yeah, fair play.
And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so
chaotic
charming,
though, but yeah.
Everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
Okay.
His hair, whack. His gear,
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the Emperor of mankind, a 10-foot tall psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds, create superhuman soldiers, and really bring humanity into a new age. This man, the Emperor of mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40k, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff, spells, and lots of other things.
That's kind of broken.
Get too into that. The Emperor, big boy psyker, top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and planets to help colonize and bring it up.
Right, so basically like they're like your generals of your army. Okay, cool.
Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you know what Chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier, the warp, that immaterium, the hellish place?
Yeah.
In there relies the 4 Chaos gods. Imagine like Satan and 3 other Satans. The warp being kind of evil. Those
like all as powerful as each other, or is there like one that's more do you know what I mean? Like, are they all like the same? Is it like Satan divided into 3, or is it like Satan sort of thing?
Chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those are Satans. The warp being kind of evil, those Chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those Chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor. And right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astra Militarum, so long as he stays alive and is fed 1,000 people.
Then that's what makes it like hyperdrive.
Is like the North Star. If you want to do interstellar travel in 40k, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way,
you got to sacrifice.
Go through that warp, and then you need to know where you're going. Go through there and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas. So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive,
insane.
You can do that. The moment he dies,
you can't do that no more.
Interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned.
Crazy.
Now, since the Horus Heresy,
but 1,000 people a day to stay alive, so you better just. I mean, interstellar travel is important, I'm sure, but 1,000 people a day? Yo, that's...
10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor God, the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this futuristic gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40k. There is no such thing as freedom of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech.
So basically, they said there's one God, and that's the only God. He is our only God. If you man back chat or chat for chat or even try and disrespect him, clapped, dead, no matter what. Even if you, we could tell if you think it as well. If you think bad of him, dead as well. I don't know about that, but
you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot.
So what if you go, oh my God, they're like, wait, what did you say? What did you say? Come here. That what, you're cooked completely.
More than others, but no matter what, you're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars.
Makes sense.
If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death.
Right.
If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death.
Because
if you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Okay. Shit now, man. You finished? That's it, man. Game over, man.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun, the main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate. It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs.
Several different.
It is reliable.
Okay, so there's several different makes. Okay, cool.
Never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall
it's pretty powerful.
An extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40k universe. Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women.
Oh, so it don't even really matter. They've got the numbers. It don't even really matter, because if you get hit with 50,000 of them boys, you're eventually, something's gonna penetrate you. Fair. Okay, fair.
10,000.
But if their numbers dwindle and they don't up their technology, they're kind of cooked then, right? Because if it's the weakest weapon thus far, but then your numbers start to go down and you start, like, you know, you are feeding 1,000 souls a day. Like, you man can't be breeding that fast. Like, your numbers are eventually going to have to go down, and then you're kind of cooked.
Artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet.
What?
And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower.
That
they are
they
the
just...
first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin jungle fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into. So they just have this steroid-looking, giant knife, Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple knight on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian Iron Guard who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle, and then of course the big one, the Cadians from Cadia.
Okay. The Canadians from Cadia. Canadians?
The biggest export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out.
So they're proper
15,
trained.
and you'll fight your first swarm lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote, I have at my command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard, 50 regiments including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent the main Imperial Guard tactics pretty well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships. Overall, they're pretty similar to how they sound, though a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately. And they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more
is he talking about more the tabletop side of it? Okay.
We can move on to talk about Space Marines.
That looks like the dude. Well, not Red, but that looks like the guy from Warhammer 2. If I'm not mistaken. Where's my Steam at? Where is it? Let me type it in. Yeah, it looks like him a bit. See, I played on 93 minutes, so basically done the tutorial. And then, like I said, I was just sitting on the thing waiting for Corwin to come, and then Corwin just didn't come because his PC couldn't hack it or something like that. I don't know what happened. And then I just never played it again. So I'm down to, or if there's any other Warhammer games that you guys want me to maybe check out or play or do a little to understand the story a bit more, then let me know. I'm actually down. It seems kind of interesting, but yeah, that looks like, so this is these, man, basically.
The Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines are genetically engineered.
Also, Angel of Death is a fire name. No matter how cliche it might sound, I feel like we've already probably heard that somewhere else or wherever, but it's still such a fire name.
Super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs. Their skin tissue is toughened. Their bones are stronger. They're taller than the average person. They're pretty massive people. And these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what brings them up to this superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines. Jagatai Khan has the White Scars. Rogel Dorn has the Imperial.
Who has the blue guy?
Korax has the Raven Guard. And there's a whole bunch of other side sections that are also also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marine, which we'll discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman are the main blue boys. Strong in almost every way. The jack of all trades. The blue boys, that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem. But the White Scars by a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem. But the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks. Go fast. We're talking attack bikes. We're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick. You want to hit them hard. You want them to be swarming around like buzzflies.
Right.
Buzz saws. With the speed of buzz saws. Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier than thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare.
That's nice.
They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle.
Black people meet other black singles in your area. Oh God! Why would you put that? Okay, all right.
Not like just regular black, like
or like 12 past midnight black.
Line at a White Castle, black. Like they have a charcoal.
Oh, so they're like black. That's what you meant to say. They're like black. Like they're like back of your phone case black. Like, oh God, you dark nigga sort of black. All right, cool. I'm sorry.
Ashy exterior and blazing red eyes.
Oh.
Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway.
Sure,
overall, Salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like,
personality,
more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is. Oh my God, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space Wolves, Vikings and wolves and tons of wolves and axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space Wolves, angry, big teeth, Blood Angels, the genetic
they look cold. I can't even lie, that looks cold.
Go crazy, called the Red
Is that a woman?
They have Cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle theme and...
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, a fancy anti-Xenos group that nobody plays because Death Watch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock. And I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff. But those are the main ones right here. Here, quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my Space Marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the
that's cold. I can't even lie.
They fuck. Oh, they fuck hard. As of making this video, Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for
Would every one of them was there where you have to buy every individual thing? So like every individual is like, I don't know, like 20 quid, 30 quid, 40 quid. And then obviously that's maybe like 100, maybe 100, and the big things maybe like 200 or something. Because that I could see that being expensive. Do you know what I mean?
You need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start.
Okay.
Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology! The Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa.
That's bad, right?
That sounds like some heresy.
Yeah.
A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also...
why don't the humans come and kill them? Because I thought that was, that's not allowed.
Make all your guns, and they make all your tanks. And
So that's why they don't come and kill them, because they need them. And then when their usefulness probably comes to an end, that's when they'll be like, okay, you're not dead. But that makes sense. Okay.
Everything that you have.
So everything?
Can't really tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Messiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines.
Right.
Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to run, you must pray to it.
Oh.
And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes. You need to go ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work,
that sounds long.
You need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And if you look at them, I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing.
Yeah,
the most
fair.
Of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Archmagos, Magos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah. This is the group we're talking about. These are these weirdos. Here. The Omnissiah Creed. The credo. Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death.
I mean, he might be spitting still. Bro might be spitting. I can't lie.
Flesh is weakness. Flesh is death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how you will become enlightened.
Oh, okay, maybe he might not be spitting. I don't know about really doing all of that, but I mean, he seems to be. Then again, though, the process of cutting down your own legs would be mad. But then, if you're gonna get like a robot body, then clearly you know what they're doing, because like they showed us in the old picture of him. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. Maybe.
Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism.
Yeah. Mad.
Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks.
Kind of like a
people in
steam
between.
pump
They're
sort of
very
thing.
weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear.
Okay.
Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans, but if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle. Yep.
What? That's
The Adeptus Mechanicus.
Damn.
You want to talk about faith, though? Let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
Ooh, I'm
A
down.
simp has fallen for an e-girl in Lego City.
Damn. I was like, yeah, I'm down on it. It's him.
The
Okay, fair.
Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters
thought this might be my
going
favorite group.
through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The
Right.
ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church,
Okay.
which is scary, and it is.
Yeah, I'm not
The
gonna lie. A
sis-
church having a private army is a bit mad, but then again, that makes sense for the way the religion works for the human people.
Sisters are
Fair.
an extremely
Or is
zealous
this just a completely different faction? Nothing. Oh, I think he said it. Never mind.
this force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire.
What's
Through the
martyrdom?
bolter, the flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics. Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big
Yeah,
thing
that
they
would
want
make
to
sense.
kill.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons: the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Damn. Literally. They are the closest things we have to
that what they look
nuns
like?
in space. And I'm talking hardcore nuns.
Yeah, I was gonna
They
say that's
carry
some.
holy
There's a different type of nuns, but yeah, fair.
on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main
bro.
battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They
What the
have
hell?
small babies that they have removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them ammunition and shit.
Oh. What, in terms of they made the babies or they bred the babies and then just took out their brain and went, yeah, cool. You men are going to be like our ammo supplier, or you're just going to be like that's kind of messed up.
They
All right.
drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop churches into battles and they blare war hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield.
What the
These are
hell?
the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. They can literally stave off demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember the warp, the demons from the warp?
Yeah,
The warp
yeah.
also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons. And all these girls, not a crack. Not a crack in that mental armor. Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore, I gotta say, I love their design. I think they're extremely cool. They're another
I need a
army
better
that I'm
image.
currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures very recently, and they look wonderful. Everything from Celestine, the living, literally undying saint from the Triumph of St. Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model. Those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer universe, and goddamn it, is it over the top. But Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell, Flamer Burst, and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence.
Jesus.
So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time.
Damn.
And speaking of burning demons,
the Grey Knights.
the Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive,
How many editions are there?
and much more old school look at power armored knights, except they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space magic magician shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's one Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's one Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's one Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon of Titan in the Sol system.
Saturn's moon. Or Venus's moon. One of the moons.
The Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers. These Grey Knights need to be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power.
Right, and he just funds it.
Use my strength. Suck my penis. Whatever the possibility.
I don't know if it's saying all that, but yeah,
and so
all right.
He has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is that pure of heart. And
so you're telling me, like, even when you're like, imagine you just have a bad day and you're like, well, maybe, you know what I mean, maybe I'm not cut out for this, and go, yeah, give me your power. You know what I mean? Like, that's impressive.
And all the characters in the Grey Knights are basically like that. The only issue is that the Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy.
What's that mean?
More ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons and the Grey Knights arrive and they kill all the demons, I'm a risk.
Oh,
so
they kill.
Guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong.
Right,
you only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun, though, if you like that kind of fast-striking kind of army. Oh, and also, Caldor Drago is a thing. We're not even going to get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious.
Well, another story upon itself.
Hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time. Grey Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you want to, you know that they're holy enough, you want to be holier? Grey Knights. If you want to be holier and big, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh, Lord, he
God damn.
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes or medium-sized buildings? Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn. Do you want a gigantic old school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school like house feel to them, like literally like they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost
going up against something
in
big
their
like
path,
that. That's
killing
mad.
full swaths of squads.
Damn.
A couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around, and they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house or chaos god you currently believe in.
Okay, fair.
And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project, too. Getting more back down to earth, let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold.
Ooh.
If guardsmen are regular soldiers, Space Marines are super soldiers,
Yeah.
Grey Knights are super soldiers,
Yeah.
the Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus Custodes are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay? But that's all. I only have 3, okay?
Okay. Must be,
They are our final
I reckon that must have been very expensive.
brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
If a
they're gold.
guardsman is 6 foot, a Space Marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra. Earth, Terra.
Okay.
Themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room.
Right.
It's Custodes. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers.
By-
I think from a tube. These
raw.
behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and every other area of Holy Terra.
Bro, so if you sent like one of them or 2 of them brothers on the battlefield, it's everybody's probably cooked. Is it like that? Like everybody's just they're winning. They could, I would say, win a war, but I don't know.
Their entire purpose in life, and oh my lord, are they terrifying. These custodians put Space Marines to shame.
Wow.
If you like your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch, or there's also one of my personal favorite, the Aquilan Shield. The Aquilan Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5 foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something of that nature.
Okay,
the custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered but never outmatched. These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them, but that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the custodians have all 3 of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready, always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within, little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years, I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years, I stood my watch, and as it ends, I can tell you this: patience is a weapon.
Jesus. Standing there, chilling for 100 years. And bro even said, no matter what day, month, or year, I was ready. I was ready to dead up a threat.
Custodians are the top dogs of the Imperium.
Yeah,
and they hurt
yeah.
just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here, because the Sisters of Silence I also have a few of, and they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies are a whole group of pariahs, or also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on.
Okay.
So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age, because they just emit a horrifying aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena.
But then that's where these come in.
Are extremely specialized in it. All of them taking a vow of silence, as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the Sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of time with the custodians because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on the tabletop. In fact, they only have like one real model for them, which is very unfortunate. I hope they'll get some like news soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore, but hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about...
Did that happen? Like, did they get another thing? No? Oh,
blanks.
Curious, but...
Let's talk assassins.
My precious power ring gone forever.
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done.
Okay,
the
okay.
Assassins, though, the Officio Assassinorum, oh boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be.
Yeah.
Man, these people will mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the, what was it called? Schola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something, you get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempestus Drop Troop, an Inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of...
Why did he say that one with so much happiness? Like, what the?
Temples, because the Assassinorum works in the temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Okay. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks.
Cool.
Poof! The Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple.
Right.
Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away after extremely long.
But sitting there for weeks in a scope, like, that's a bit. Oh, I guess you train for it though, innit? I'm sure, but
long time periods. The Vindicare temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out particular body parts from over 2-3 miles away. Temples in the head, the jugular, for instance, and been sitting there after weeks. And when they're ready, take that shot. Time is done. Packs them up. The Calidus temple, however, is a lot more about shape-shifting and deviant art. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be. And this allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems. These assassins will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group and slowly work their way up, just to get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed. Or become the main target and sabotage it from within.
Right.
These are all completely about
Damn.
deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between.
That's cold.
And,
Okay.
Lots of drawings. Lots.
I mean, fair.
Eversor Temple. Just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. An Eversor is psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo-freeze you.
Oh.
And they drop you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead. And then you defrost, full of just all this insane, mind-boggling psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs, and you just go to town. Yeah, you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause. Send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus
his head looks mad.
Temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples.
Oh.
So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They are described by the Eldar by quote as being pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned.
Yeah.
And then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100. If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no, the sheer presence of a Caluxus assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is, "That which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear." Now, for the tabletop, assassins aren't that special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are, and they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Custodes. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of psychers, Caluxus. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades if you have a specific thing you want to kill. And you get to choose which is really fun. But now, let's talk about the last human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition. And we have a lot to talk about with them.
Well, on the subject of heresy!
Oh boy. Where do I even begin with the Inquisition? Secret police. You can
are they that in depth with the law? Like,
think of the KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people, and then mark it up by about 10, and give them the most power in the entire Imperium. No, you know what? How about this? This right here. It's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto. The motto of the Inquisition.
Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice.
My bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat. Innocence proves nothing. The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police, their number-one motto is innocence proves nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, no, that's diabolical. That's so you just what? You just dead up whoever, even if I wasn't even dead. Look, it's my alibi. Yeah, don't mean you're dead. Like, it don't matter. It don't matter.
The Inquisition goes around like the secret police or like detectives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons.
Okay.
They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot.
Damn.
They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically
okay. So even though it says innocence proves nothing, they don't just go and dead up someone. Just, do you know what I mean? They investigate. They do the proper investigation. They make sure that evidence is there. They do. So it's not just like, oh, innocence means nothing. You're thinking, right, if I'm even a part of this thing, I'm dead. It don't even matter. But it's actually not like that. They make sure they do their job properly. Okay, that's fair.
With just enormous power and sometimes a bit of a power complex. And we haven't even talked about Exterminatus yet. Exterminatus. Exterminatus is deeming a planet unfit to be saved. I deem that this planet is demon infested, and taking it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it.
So
I have now committed Exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet, as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment. This can mean cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes, the innocence proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety. Yeah.
Okay, that I just kind of thought they'd investigate stuff like, you know, like whatever they needed to do. I didn't think, so they're out here destroying planets. It's not even one of those, it's not even a thing where it's like, yeah, there's innocent people on the planet, or there's survivors on it. They don't matter. It don't matter. But like you said, they make sure they do a thorough job about it though. It's not just like, okay, but then again, fair enough.
Playing the villain.
Fair enough.
Now, it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one. But most Inquisitors rough on this one.
Also as major. Okay.
But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have. And it's a crazy option when you think about it. Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them, and they're not quite where I want them to be. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of Space Marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grimdarkness. And wow, we just finished the humans, all right? Come back for part 2 when we talk about Chaos and Xenos, because we got to talk about the 4 Chaos gods and all the Chaos Marine legions and
You see,
the
now,
Tau
I
and the Necrons and the Orcs and oh boy.
Okay. That answers the question I was going to
I'll see
ask
in
as
part
well.
2.
Okay, cool. Because I was literally going to ask, I was like, okay, so that's a lot of like human soldiers, right? Like, that's a lot of like humans, and obviously we had the Mars people. Obviously, they basically coincide with the humans because they make their weapons or they make the weaponry. But it's like, so then what are they fighting up against? Like, yeah, cool. He's talking about demons and whatever. Is that it? Is it only a demon race? But no, he said the ogres. He said the Zyas or some other stuff. So obviously, I know there's like some bug sort of creatures as well, just because of from the Warhammer 2 game that I brought up earlier. From it's on my screen. 1 second. This, like, I know there's like some sort of bugs and whatever. Maybe do you know what? Let me install that because true say this might actually have to get played. I can't even lie. But anyway, yeah, that was interesting. I'm not gonna lie, that was very interesting. But we are gonna check out part 2 because I kind of want to know about the other races and all the other stuff that, like, all the other factions and stuff like that. And he also got every single Warhammer Space Marine logo in a nutshell. He's got a couple Warhammer stuff, to be fair with you. But anyway, like I said, the original video will be down in the description down below. If you guys obviously do want to see more, if you want me to check out, if you guys want me to play the Warhammer game, then let me know. Because I only completed the prologue. I didn't actually get into any of the missions, so I'll be down to do that. But anyway, we could do it on stream together. So follow the Twitch in the description down below. But anyway, I'll catch you lot in a bit. And yeah. Oh wait, there's also Warhammer Time. Oh, there's a timeline lore as well that we could check out. I think I might do that next. No, I think I'll do the Warhammer fractions next, so I know all the fractions, and then do the timeline lore, because I feel the timeline lore is probably important once I know all the fractions and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Anyway, I'll catch you man in a bit. Peace.